Welcome to the Commander Complex, the brand new Magic the
What?
Gathering podcast. We're the hosts. You go first.
Douglas. I'm Douglas.
DJ Dougie
That's
Doug.
me.
Yep.
That's my name.
And I'm Ivy. Let's, talk a little bit first. First episode. We want to get our credentials out there. Talk a little bit about your journey with Magic the Gathering and trading card games as a whole. I know you're a longtime Pokemon person.
Oh yeah, long time.
So yeah, just talk about how you got into the game and
Cool. So with Magic, it was me and my dad whenever I was like 6, and then like the longest hiatus because we lost the cards that we were using. But recently, probably like a year ago, I got a little Founders box, and then the Fallout Caesar Precon. And we just been rocking with that until we get money to buy some more stuff. But yeah, like you brought up, I'm a huge Pokemon fan, doing Pokemon cards and like the game. And right now, I am absolutely devastated with the Pokemon community. It has been very rough buying cards.
yeah, the upcoming sets though, just a little Pokemon tangent. The sets they're doing for Black and White, I saw those. Those cards look
Oh
gorgeous.
yeah,
Um,
dude, they're so cool, and I
yeah.
can't wait to never buy a pack.
Well, with the most recent release, you saw that they like purged a bunch of the Scalper accounts on the online site. It was up online for like a few hours. It's getting. I feel like Pokemon is improving their Scalper prevention, from what I've seen.
I guess so. I guess so. I guess for me, it would just be like just like constantly producing the same set. Like that might dilute the market, I guess, but if people have the chance to actually like buy these packs, I think it's just better for the long run. Especially if like kids can finally just buy these packs at like Walmart or
That's always
even
yeah.
local GameStop or a game store. I think it would just be better in the long run.
That's always been what's been really bad about Scalpers. Is kids don't get to play the children's games that we love so much.
The adults one. Yeah, no, I think that's the absolute like worst thing because that just sucks.
Yeah. Somebody who is not combating Scalpers is our friends Wizards of the Coast, the manufacturers of Magic. Um, I don't know how much of the news you keep up with, but fuck, a couple weeks ago at this point, um, the Final Fantasy set released, and it was big news.
Yeah,
Crossover with the popular Japanese RPG video game series Final Fantasy, and oh my lord, was it a shit show! Scalpers
really?
galore. Everything sold out everywhere. I I managed to buy some just because I was in um Seattle day of release, and there's a massive card store there that gets straight from manufacturer. So I was there like
Oh,
the moment it released. That's the only reason I was able to buy any. And then our local game store has a couple of packs, but that's it. And I bought one there. But yeah, everything else is sold out. Um, and it's horrible.
that's crazy. See, I didn't. I because I'm like getting back into it. I didn't realize that there was scalpers in Magic the Gathering.
Big time,
That's
especially
crazy.
with the new Universes Beyond set. That's the main issue. We had it with Lord of the Rings. It wasn't as bad. You could still find products for a little bit, but it was pretty bad. This is insane. This has never happened before to this scale as long as I've been playing Magic. And it makes me terrified because we have two more Universes Beyond sets this year. We have Spider Man coming out sometime this year, and we have Avatar: The Last Airbender coming out in December. And am I gonna be able to find those? Like,
No,
no,
probably
no,
not. Like
no.
whatsoever.
I have luckily pre-ordered my Spider-Man, so hopefully I'll get it. Um, everything going right. But I'm nervous for Avatar: The Last Airbender because I know how big of a franchise that is. Um,
Yeah, but I'm sure there'll be like yeah, it is a big deal, Avatar and the Last Airbender, but I would assume Spider-Man would be
yeah,
like I think you would have a better chance of finding packs for the Last Airbender than Spider-Man.
for sure, for sure. It's gonna be difficult with the both of those. Um, but what is it that scalpers want? Scalpers want to make money, and let's look at how much money they're making. I have a list here
Okay,
of the typical MSRP, what most of these Magic products usually sell for, what the MSRP was for Final Fantasy, what manufacturers said that we should sell these products for, and what they're being resold for online. So typically,
cool.
a normal pack of Magic cards, what you buy and open, not a collector's booster or anything, just a normal booster, is 550. It's been that for the last year. It was like 20 cents lower before that, but it's been around 550 for as long as I've been around. With Final Fantasy, Wizards of the Coast told stores to sell it at $7, which isn't unheard of. They did it with Innistrad Remastered earlier this year, and they did it with Lord of the Rings last year. So a $7 pack, it isn't typical, but it's happened before. They're reselling
Yeah,
online for $8, which isn't horrible, but when you're trying to buy boxes of it, 8 times 35, that's a lot of money.
yeah, dang, yeah,
This one's even more hideous. These prices are pulled from this morning, so they're as up to date as I could get. A collector's booster normally sells for $25. That's the booster pack that you buy. Like it's just for collectors. All of the cards in it are foil. You get the special arts. You get the serialized cards where they only have 200 printed. That's where you get all the special stuff. Is in collector's boosters. Normally those are 25. For Final Fantasy, they were being sold at 38. They're reselling online for $100 at least.
oh my god.
Mm-hmm. Plenty more are being sold for more than $100. I saw the the boxes of them because boxes of collector boosters only have 15 packs in it. Those are being sold, yeah, for close to $2,000, and it's
Oh my
horrible.
god.
Uh huh.
So so why do scalpers so they buy the product and then they just want to like resell it, but why don't they open it and see if they get like a cool card? I guess so because then I guess now I'm kind of answering my own question. If you have the ability to sell something that might have the chance at a cool card, then it's going to be expensive
Hmm.
and like persuade people more. So never mind. I answered my own question.
um. Yeah. Some other products. So every set or most sets they release pre-constructed commander decks. That's what your Caesar Precon is. That was the pre-constructed deck from the Fallout set. There were four released for Final Fantasy. All of them were priced at 55. All right, no, all of them were priced at 70. Usually they're 55. They're being resold from anywhere from $63, which is below MSRP, for one of the decks, all the way up to
True.
$112, which is a lot.
That's crazy.
They also do a special printing of each of the commander decks that's all in foil. Those were set at 150. They're reselling from 170 to 270
Wow.
for the same
That's
cards as a normal commander deck, just shiny.
yeah, just way shinier.
Um, Now the product I managed to get, the bundle, which is I think like 5 packs, a little bit of every land type and the beautiful full arts, and then a couple promo cards. It comes in a little box like this. Um,
Oh, sick.
Final Fantasy on the top. I've gotten uh, a bundle for most of the sets that I really like. I got it for Final Fantasy. I got it for Assassin's Creed, Modern Horizons 3, and Foundation. I plan on getting one for Spider-Man and Avatar if I can find them. Um, I got it at MSRP, which was $70. Normally they're 54, but this set they were 70, and I was happy with
Yeah.
that. They're at 100 now. I probably wouldn't have bought it if it was at 100 when I went to purchase.
Yeah, because then it gets to the point where it's like, because you do play the game a
Hmm.
lot, but then also it's cardboard. So
Hmm.
there's that weird balance of, all right, am I going to spend $100 on a cool box and then some cardboard, which sucks because like the game is super fun, but once the prices get that high, it's you start to question it a little.
But these cards are so fucking beautiful. Holy moly. I don't have anything super awesome, but yeah, like gorgeous, beautiful art because they're getting Japanese artists to come in and do these. Um, we have a full art right there.
Oh, that's sick.
Um, but one of the most exciting things is they're doing these full art reprints of other cards, but with Final Fantasy themed names, and these are gorgeous. So
Yo, yo, that rules.
you have like the card text down here, you have the name, and then you have the original name right there. And I got a couple of those, and they're so beautiful. Um,
That's sick.
yeah, there's some amazing stuff in here. I'm already building two commander decks around Final Fantasy commanders. And yeah, I'm super like the set is good, which is why I'm so bummed that I'm not able to buy it anywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's so lame.
Mhm.
It sucks hearing that a great set comes out and then just watching everyone else get it from either
Mhm.
like online purchases or just scalpers flaunting it.
Exactly. Um, yeah, and there isn't a real way to prevent this that we have seen established. Like you have what Pokemon did with their most recent release, where you just avoid scalpers altogether. You purge them from buying it. You have a wait list that you can sign up for so that true fans of the game can get in there and buy early. But you're run the risk of excluding people who aren't scalpers by accidentally banning their accounts or not letting them sign up for whatever reason. So it's still limited to an exclusive amount of people. And then the scalpers can still get in. Or they can go to other places and scalp. I've seen people walk
Yeah.
into our local game store and buy as much of a product as they can. Usually local game stores put a limit on product, but it's a high limit because the fans sometimes buy 3 boxes of stuff. But scalpers are going to buy
Yeah,
those
then it's
three
also
boxes and turn around and resell them for much higher.
kind of like a catch 22 because if you let someone purchase a lot of products, the local uh car store is getting a lot of money for it.
Mm-hmm.
But then
Oh,
also
yeah.
no one else like there's that like ethicalness that comes with it, which luckily our little card store has
Oh,
ethics,
yes.
but
And a
not a
lot
lot of
of them
shops
do.
do.
Because the people who own these stores love the game. They're not just in it for the money. If they were, they would
That's
do
true. That's
something
true.
much more profitable. So, fortunately, with LGSs, you usually have that barrier between scalpers and keeping prices somewhat reasonable. But scalpers hiking prices hikes prices for everybody. I went in to the store and they had a couple of the commander decks and they weren't at the $70 they're supposed to be. They were at I think they're like what they typically do is they do 90% of what the online market price is. So it's still cheaper than buying it online, but it's not as cheap as if you bought it the
Yeah.
second it released.
Yeah.
Um, it's bad, man. But
Yeah, and especially like because right now I'm leaning towards going well, just want to like support the our LGS. But
mhm,
for the longest time I went to like GameStop to get some Pokemon cards at least. And now as soon as you walk in, it's just like a wasteland of empty slots where the packs used to be, or just it's been rough, especially at like Walmart and Target and all that, which is so weird to see because I remember being a kid and like there was just shelves full of all of this,
mhm.
and it's weird seeing the like an enormous shift in card scenes.
Yeah, I too remember a time where I would buy a box of Magic cards. Um, I was probably the same age when I started playing, 6, 7, but I played well until I was. One second, I'm getting a call. I'll be right back. Um, we were talking about scalpers raising prices, but
That's true. We were talking about Scalpers.
they're not the only ones raising prices. Because I gave three numbers for every product: what they're usually sold for, what scalpers are selling them for, and what Wizards decided to sell them for this set only. Do you think it is fair for Wizards of the Coast to sell Final Fantasy products at a premium, like they did Fallout and Doctor Who and Warhammer 40K and Lord of the Rings? There are other universes beyond products. Or do you think they're just trying to get a quick cash grab on something that they know is going to sell well, make a little bit extra money?
I think that it can be both. Obviously, the universes beyond is just a way to like probably just bring more hype to a set. It's like, oh, I'm not really that big into Magic the Gathering, but oh my gosh, SpongeBob? I don't know if that's part of the universes beyond.
SpongeBob?
Almost SpongeBob. So I think it's a little bit of both. Like, it is that it's just another way to get money. Like, regardless, a new set comes out, they're going to get money. But since it is a nice brand name that comes with it, it's just a little cash grab too.
Yeah, there's a lot of controversy around that. People are starting to call Magic the Gathering the Fortnite of card games, which I think is a
Yes, I can totally understand that.
hilarious moniker, especially because they did a Fortnite secret layer a while back.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, they did. Here, let
Really?
me. I'm gonna pull up a card. One second. um, here you go. I'm gonna send this to you. This is a real Magic card that was released. Um,
Hold on. Hold on. I hold on.
yeah,
Wow, we got Battle Bus and Magic the
Battle Bus
Gathering.
in Magic the Gathering.
What is it? It's a 3/3.
Vehicle. Yeah,
Whenever it attacks or blocks, I may draw a card. If I do, discard a card. That's crazy. It's only two colorless mana. That's actually broken.
We also had Shrinking Storm as a reprint of Wrath of God, which is one of my favorite cards. I want this version of Shrinking Storm. Let me see what it's at actually, because I might buy it right now.
Destroy all creatures. What? That's actually such a good card.
Yeah, Wrath of God is like a pretty good stamp, like a good board wipe for a white deck. Not as good as others, especially if you're playing multicolored. But yeah, it
I think I might pick that up because I have a white black deck that I made, and it has a card called Fumigate.
mhm. Let me look up Fumigate
Um,
real quick.
Fumigate it has a. Let me look that up too because I'm pretty sure it has a lot more mana cost.
Um, Fumigate NPC.
It has one more colorless
You
than Wrath of God.
Yes, but you gain one life for each creature destroyed that way.
Yeah, never mind. Well, I could still just like have.
Both.
How many wipe the board cards are there?
Uh, board wipes are like a large subsection. Let me just look up mono white board wipe.
Because I wonder if you can just like because I know you can't put the same exact card in your commander deck, but I wonder if you could put like similar board wiping cards into it.
Yeah, here are the 39 best
That's
board
crazy.
wipes
that's
in Magic the
that's awesome.
Gathering. I'm not
30
shrinking.
there's at least 39.
Oh yeah, yeah. They print them pretty regular. Also, Shrinking Storm, only $8. I'm totally getting it. I'll get you a copy as well while I'm there. Um, this is the best one. Farewell is the best whiteboard wipe for sure. Um, because you get a pick. Um, so like yeah, you can clear out
Oh,
all the artifacts, all the creatures, all the enchantments, and all the graveyard. But if you have artifacts that you want to keep, you can just pick the other three. Or if you have a deck that messes with your graveyard, you can just get rid of everything except for the graveyard. It's not get rid of all of these. It's
that's
rid of the
pretty
ones you
cool.
want. Yeah, Farewell is neat. It's not that expensive either. I think it's a sub $10 card. I'm not sure though. Um,
Oh, dude. For graveyard stuff, there's a card in my deck. It's called um Angel of Finality.
ooh, let me look this up because I've heard of that card.
I'm pretty sure. Yes. Yes. Whenever it comes into play, exile all cards from target player's graveyard.
Mm-hmm.
I I want to try and find a card that turns, or like some card combination that turns the deck of someone into like and put it into their graveyard, and I played that and it exiles their entire deck.
Yeah. Uh, the best way I would think of doing it, the easiest way, is just mill. Either blue or black. They have cards that say target player mills X amount of cards, which you just take the top card off your library and put it into the graveyard. There's a lot of mill X cards, so you'll pay like 30 mana in this hypothetical. If you have like a large mana ramp, you'll pay like 30 mana, and target player will take the top 30 cards off of their library and put them into their graveyard. And then you could, yeah, Angel
That's
uh, of Finality, all of
finality.
that.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, like yeah, Angel of Finality would be awesome in a like a black white or a black blue white or a blue white mill deck. I would also look up Bajuka Bog. Bajuka Bog is a black land that does the exact same thing. It's yeah, exile target player's graveyard. And then it just taps for one black mana, I believe. Let me verify that for you. And it's like a super cheap, like very heavily used card. Yeah, but Jukabug enters the battlefield tapped. Exile all cards from target player's library, and then you can tap it for one mana. One black.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's a Jukabug. I have a couple in some decks. But yeah, mill is fun, and graveyard stuff is fun for sure. Yeah, if most most decks that run black have a Bajuka Bog in it, just because in a commander game where you're playing against three other people, that's just three times as likely that somebody's doing shit with the graveyard. So,
Yeah.
um, going back to Magic overpricing sets on purpose, um,
Oh, yes.
with the collector's boosters especially, those are a full $13 more than they usually are, and collector's boosters are already expensive. But the reason they do that, reason they're so expensive, and this one especially is so expensive, is serialized cards. These are cards that um, they only print 200 of them, and then in the bottom left corner, there's a number, and it says like 49 out of 200.
Oh, okay.
Our LGS has a serialized Edgar Markov, and it is so much money because it's a number under 10. It's like I don't want to say what it is because that will probably dox us, but it's a number under 10 serialized Edgar Markov, and it's so much fucking money, like tens of thousands,
But why?
because there's only 200 of them, and
Okay,
collectors
yeah,
boost.
yeah, yeah, but like if it's under 10, it's the same card.
Hmm.
compared to one that's 11
Yeah,
or like 199.
and they also have non-serialized versions of the same card. It's just this one is serial. It's a collector's thing. Um, Usually when they do a serialized, anything under 10, 69, and then 200, those are the ones that sell for the most. Either the last one, the first few, or number 69.
Wow.
Yeah. Uh huh. It's fun, isn't it? But for Final Fantasy, instead of doing a normal serialized card, 1 out of 200, they did a completely gold 1 out of 77 traveling chocobo. I sent you a picture of it. There's
Yeah,
only there's only 77 of them.
it's just a three. It's just a 3/2 bird.
Well, it has text. Let me send you the normal version of it. This is what the card normally looks like.
Oh, okay.
Look at your top card of your library at any time. You may play lands and cast bird spells from the top of your library. If a land or bird you control entering the battlefield causes the trigger ability of a permanent you control, it triggers an additional time. So this is really good for
Wait,
bird
so it's the
tribal decks.
same. Yeah, this artwork is just the same artwork, but just
What was that?
right.
I didn't hear you.
The normal card, it's the exact same artwork for the serialized one, but it's just gold.
I'm gonna show you something in
So what?
like 5 minutes, like in just like a couple more sentences. I'm gonna show you something else, and it's gonna make you mad too. But yeah, it's just the same art,
Okay.
but completely gold. And normally they don't even do it that. For a serialized card, they'll usually just have the same card, but have like a serialized printing as well. So you can have a
Yeah,
serialized.
I just saw a card for Luck Bobblehead from the Fallout Precon or
Mhm.
just Fallout set, and it's just the exact same card with the serialized
Yeah.
number.
Uh huh. And it's what, like $800
Unless
is
this
what
is
they're
a
at
fake
now.
one. Really?
Yeah. Serialized bobbleheads, yeah, are all hovering around 800 to 1100.
Oh my god.
Uh huh. Because they did all the bobbleheads for the
All
five
right,
set.
that's crazy. But I guess it makes sense, but I don't know. That's I'm sure it does make sense.
Yes,
But
I
like
prefer.
it's just the same word.
It is. I prefer uh, um serialized cards to the other. Here's the other art for a traveling chocobo. This is like the normal one, not the full art one. This is going for $31. While
Okay.
let's see if I can find a serialized traveling chocobo for sale right now. I don't think I will. Um, but yeah, traveling chocobo is going for $30. That full art one that has the same art, that's going for 46. And then serialized borderless gold, there has not been a selling yet, at least from what I'm looking at.
Just because no one's pulled the card yet.
There's been four confirmed, I think. I think just four. There's just been four confirmed. Um,
So does so do Wizards of the Coast announce when a certain card is serialized?
yeah, they'll let the when the set is coming out, they'll announce what the serialized card for that set is, or cards.
Gotcha. I think it would be cooler. I think it would be cooler if they didn't tell anyone what the serialization is,
Hmm.
and they just let people find it for themselves.
Oh
And I
yeah,
think
that
that
would
would
be
be so
awesome.
cool.
Um, the coolest thing that they've done with serialized, besides this, the 77 chocobos, which I think is a reference to something in the Final Fantasy games, but I'm not sure. I don't know why they picked the number 77 specifically. I'm not a Final Fantasy fan, unfortunately. I played 7 and 10, and that's it. Um, but for the Lord of the Rings set, one of the best cards in that set is the One Ring. It's a pretty good artifact. It works well in pretty much any deck that has anything to do with artifacts. Um, but they did a special printing of it in full special art, and the text was in Elvish from Lord of the Rings, and they only printed one.
Yes.
There's only one. Do you know who has it right now?
I think I do. Isn't it Mr. Post Malone?
It's Post Malone. Post Malone is the proud owner of the serialized one of one, One Ring from the Lord of the Rings set. So
That's
wild,
crazy.
so fucking wild, dude. Um,
But also, I have heard that he's like huge into Magic.
oh, big time, big time. He has a couple cards with his face on it. Um, that Magic is printed. He has that. He has at least one copy of Black Lotus. Probably more. Yeah, he's a big Magic guy.
Wait, the the serialized version is a 9 in PSA.
The serialized
Oh
One Ring.
yeah, the serialized One Ring is a PSA 9.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume that it would be a 10.
I it probably just got bent or something. Like like it's a foil, and foil Magic cards have a real problem with curling. So
Yeah, that's true.
um, but yeah, not a perfect 10, not a gem mint 10. Nothing really is anymore nowadays. See, like
True. Have you This is another tangent. I'm so sorry. Have you
have you,
heard of Tag,
um, yeah, are they
the
a
grading
serialized?
company?
Yeah, they're a grading company. Um,
Yeah.
I have not
I
heard much.
I prefer them. I haven't graded anything, but from what I have seen is that Tag goes into like a lot of details on like why your card is a certain grade. Like you send it in for grading, that comes back and it's like a 5.5 or just a 5. And then they'll give you reasons on why it is, like, and they'll even like point it out. I don't want to sound like a giant promotion for Tag,
Yeah, well, I didn't know
but
we had a
I don't
sponsor
like
for Tag this episode.
I just don't like PSA because of all the randomness that comes with
Hmm.
grading from PSA.
They
And
also, to their credit, have like a card that they send with it where they like circle the problem areas. Um, they have their own version of that too. I think most grading companies do, but I have heard Tag is really good at it. Beckett's also really good at it. The big one that everybody's really using right now is Beckett. Um, but yeah.
gotcha. And then I also looked it up. 77. It just shows up in Final Fantasy 7 a lot.
Oh,
Just that
gotcha.
number does.
Um, okay. So you were complaining about how the traveling chocobo serialized. Um, which I was starting to say this. I don't think I finished. I prefer serialized cards to other like collector focused things that Magic does because yes, having a serialized card potential increases the price of a collector booster versus the few sets that don't have serialized cards, but overall it doesn't raise the price of the normal card. There is still ways for it to be played. Traveling Chocobo here is only $35. The One Ring itself is only like a $50 card. That should be really good. But you can find the non-serialized versions of these serialized cards. It's just a collector's thing. It's focused towards them.
That's true.
Um, but something that Final Fantasy decided to do for this set is they released specially colored versions of the full art borderless traveling chocobo. So there is, I'm gonna send you pictures, a neon green version, a neon blue version. They call this neon pink, but it looks red to me.
No, that is neon pink. I don't know why you think that's red.
I don't know. I'm a little colorblind. And then a neon yellow version, which I haven't seen in person, but people who have say it's clearly different from the normal yellow printing of Traveling Chocobo. Um,
I can see it because like the belly is a little bit yellow, like way
mhm,
more bright.
mhm. Yeah, it's it's weird that they released a special yellow version of a card that's already yellow, but I digress. And then in Japan only, they released um oh, a special black version of it, which is beautiful.
That's so cool.
Uh-huh. So like I said, Traveling Chocobo is $30, $50 for the borderless version, and then the special neon printings go from $900 to $4,000.
Oh my god.
The $4,000 one is the Japanese exclusive black one. The most expensive non-Japan exclusive one is the blue at right now market price says 1,300, but it has
That's crazy.
yeah. But they all have listings more than $2,000, and they're probably going to be sold within the next couple of days.
Dang.
But these are cool as fuck. They're just another fun thing for
I
collectors, I
mean,
guess.
yeah, that's true.
And
Oh, that's crazy though.
mhm. um, which is weird. It freaks me out because Traveling Chocobo, the Japan exclusive one, being listed at $8,000, and the most recent selling being at $6,000. I remember a time when Black Lotus was less than that. I remember going into a store and seeing a PSA 5 Black Unlimited Black Lotus when I was like 7 or 8 years old, and it was $5,000. It was $3,000 less than what this fucking Chocobo is being sold for. Of course, you
Yeah, but I
cannot.
mean, like the grading of it though.
Mhm.
Like, I'm sure the PSA like there's less value of a PSA 5 Black Lotus compared to a
It was not today. A
to
PS5 Black Lotus will sell for 20,000 easy.
no.
Oh,
I don't believe that.
let's look up PSA 5 Black Lotus sales. Um, yeah, PSA 5. There's 11 of them out there. Yeah, okay. Here, a PSA 3 sold in 2021 on eBay at auction for 23,000. PSA 3.
What?
Yeah, it's the most expensive Magic card of all time.
Well, yeah, know it's a from like a collector's standpoint. It's a PSA 3.
Mhm.
I guess. So, what is the story behind the Black Lotus? Like, why is it the most expensive? Is it just a like lore wise, or is it just like a really good card to play, or is it just a specific, or is it just like a Charizard in Pokemon where it's just a specific card?
It's pretty good. It's
Oh, never mind. It's actually a really good card.
yeah, it's free 3 mana on turn one. Which is awesome in any format. Um, it was only printed in the first 3 sets in all of Magic's history, and then it got put onto the restricted list. Um, it's part of a collection called the Power Nine, which were cards in the first set of Magic, the 9 best cards that were
Yeah.
there, and they'll never be printed again, no matter what.
I think they should.
I think
I
it would
think it would
be
be cool to see.
really fun for the Power 9 to be reprinted, but it's never going to happen.
So, so the Power 9, it's 6 out of the 9 cards are just mana based. One of them is draw 3 cards or force the opponent to draw 3 cards. Take an extra turn after this one, and then the other one is set Time Twister aside, or just Time Twister. Shuffle your hand, library, and graveyard together into new library. Draw a new hand. Oh, that's cool. Okay,
Oh yeah,
I can understand how Time Twister and Time Walk can be banned. Um, the Ancestral Retail where draw 3 cards or force opponent to draw 3 cards. I don't understand how that one is banned.
Ancestral Recall is a little bit of a weird one. Um, I don't really get it either. Um,
It was, they were just like, no, we have to have 9. It just sounds better for the name. It can't be 8.
I think because it is only a one cost, it's just a really cheap card draw.
I do you think in the history of that card, do you think someone was just like, all right, now you get to draw 3 cards? Like,
Yeah.
what would be the purpose of that?
Um, you the only like real application I could think of is in 60 card Magic. In every Magic format, if you have no cards in your library, the next time you draw, you lose because you don't have anything to draw. So if somebody is really low on cards, forcing them to draw cards can kind of work in your favor because you can make them draw out.
Oh, okay.
That's the only
I can see
real
that.
use for it I can think of. It's just mill with extra steps. And then Time Walk is weird as a as a reserve list card because there's a lot of cards nowadays that make you take an extra turn or like an extra combat step.
Yeah.
I have an entire deck that's built around chaining combat steps so that I can hit you 9 times in a row.
Oh, that's evil.
Oh, it's horrible. I don't have it put together right now, but I have the list and I have all the cards. I just had to separate it, like because I couldn't control myself. It's the worst. Um, yeah, it's bad. The Power 9 are definitely
So
really.
why are these like stat or like the gem ones part of the Power 9 too? Because for example, the Max Ruby, right? Max, is that what it
Mox,
says?
MOX, Mox.
I can't read. Mox Ruby.
Mm-hmm.
Add 1 red mana to your mana pool. Having this artifact can be played as an interrupt.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
It's basically the reason why it's restricted is because you can only play one land a turn. This just essentially lets you play another. Because you can play. Imagine it's your first turn. Okay, you draw 3 of the Moxes, the Black Lotus, and Time Walk. Okay. Um, you play all 3 Moxes, your one land, and Black Lotus, and then you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 mana turn one. And then even if like it doesn't have to be Time Walk, if you had any card that was 7 or less mana, it's that yeah, you get that out way quicker than anybody else possibly could.
Okay, counter argument. Uh, Soul Ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're
That's it. That's my counter.
yeah, that's the one that people say, Soul Ring. Yeah, mana ramp exists nowadays, but in old Magic, it was a this was really way too powerful. But because of how much power creep there's been in Magic, this kind of mana ramp isn't super impactful anymore. Black Lotus is still a great card, but the Moxes would probably come back, and it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Um, but yeah, it's just mana ramp. Artifact based mana ramp exists and it will exist forever. There are people who have decks today that you could pull out a 7 cost card on turn one. It's just the entire deck has to be built around it now. You can't just toss these in there and it happens naturally. You have to kind of make your deck do just that.
Gotcha. Okay.
Um,
I can understand it then.
hmm, um,
What are like the I know that there's also a ban list in Yu-Gi-Oh!
hmm.
I wanna make fun of Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit.
I fucking hate Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh my god, I don't know how people play that game.
I don't understand it. I'm not going to talk a bunch of smack because I don't understand it. But I think it's kind of weird. With that
Yeah,
being said, Magic is a great game, which is also very weird.
yeah.
So there are a lot of banned cards, I guess, in Yu-Gi-Oh!
I
Like
think
a
so. I
lot,
think
and I can't really find just like a definite list.
yeah, I think they have a pretty big ban list.
So forbidden cards. Oh my god, there's so many. Did you
Give
know
me.
that? Did you know that Link Ross is forbidden?
I didn't. Holy shit, that must be a big hit towards the community.
Dude, Block Dragon is also forbidden. Oh my god, Butterfly Dagger. Oh, there we go. A ban list of Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Pot of Greed.
All right, I know Pot of Greed is banned, and I forget what it does.
I think it's basically just Soul Ring, right? Or it's card draw, I believe.
Yeah, draw 2 cards, and that's it.
Yeah, and Magic does nothing. Um,
So that's weird. A banned card, draw 2 cards, banned. I'm guessing there's like an unlimited amount of monsters and spells you can put in your deck in Yu-Gi-Oh.
I'm not sure. I have no idea if they have a max deck limit. Um,
All right, I found this card and I'm going to read it out loud. And I want you to tell me if it sounds okay to forbid it.
okay,
It is Premature Burial.
I've heard of
Activate
this
this
card.
card by playing 800 life points. Then target one monster in your graveyard. Special summon that target in attack position and equip it with this card. When this card is destroyed, destroy the equipped monster. So basically, it's just revive a monster from your graveyard.
Yeah, it's Grave and MGG. Like that's all it is. But like, yeah, okay, bringing something out of your graveyard onto the battlefield attacking is a lot, but in Magic there's like 100 cards that do that. I maybe in Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah,
there's less. I'm not sure, but if so, that makes sense. If that's not really something that they like to do.
I guess if you get to like a high monster, then it would be pretty wise or like pretty broken to put him back out in attack mode.
Mhm.
So there's another one. It's called Victory Dragon. And it says that this card cannot be special summoned. To tribute summon this card, you must tribute 3 dragon-type monsters. If this card attacks your opponent directly and reduces their life points to 0, you win the match.
Okay.
But isn't if this card attacks your opponent directly and reduces their life points to 0, you win the match. Isn't that how you win though? Like you just bring the other opponent
Yeah,
down to 0 life points?
that I
So
would think.
because it doesn't say when
Fuck.
this monster attacks, it drops their life points to 0. Just says if this card attacks your opponent directly and reduces their life points to 0, you win the match. But like, duh, right?
Yeah, that yeah,
What a weird forbidden card.
it's
And
forbidden. And I'm assuming
I,
forbidden
I,
means that it
I
won't be brought out. Like
yes,
it's not like a ban list where it's just banned for now. Like I assume forbidden is like
no, because yeah, because they have their other list called limited,
hmm
which is the Exodius cards. Is that his name?
I think so, yeah.
I don't even know how to spell
Exodia.
Exodius.
Yeah.
Exodia. Yes, he is a limited 5 cards.
Okay.
What? That's crazy. That's I want to learn Yu-Gi-Oh one day just to kind of like understand what it's about.
hmm
I want to find one more card to look at, and then we can talk about Magic again. I just like trying to figure out why these cards are banned. All right, this one is called Abyss Dweller. Um, 2 level 4 monsters. While this card has a material attached that was originally water, all water monsters you control gain 500 attack. Once per turn, you can detach 1 material from this card. Your opponent cannot activate any card effects in their GY this turn. Okay, I can kind of understand how that's a little broken.
hmm
You attach material and every that was water, and every water monster you control just gets a 500 more attack. If you want to detach one, your opponent can't really use any card effects. I can see why that one's busted. All right, let's get back to Magic because I don't want to talk about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah. Me neither. Yu-Gi-Oh makes my head hurt. We have a big announcement from Magic the Gathering. This is breaking news. It only came out like a day or two ago. So the set schedule for upcoming Magic sets. This year we already had Innistrad Remastered, Aether Drift, Tarkir, and then Final Fantasy. The next set coming out is Edge of Eternities, which is a spaceship themed set where it's like space opera, Star Wars type shit. Um, it looks cool. Then we have Spider-Man in September, and we have Avatar in November.
Yes.
So, are you super excited for any of those?
I mean, obviously, like Spider-Man and okay, of what you've listed, I'm actually pretty excited for Edge of Eternity.
Fucking neat, dude. um,
I think I think it would be super sick to see what they do with like base Magic cards.
mhm,
And I don't know, because what I assume might happen with like the Spider-Man set or Last Airbender set is they will kind of just pick a previous card but just remake artwork for it. So like the SpongeBob set where it
mhm.
was just previous cards, but it's SpongeBob now. Um, I think that's cool, but I would love to see just like brand new cards from the sets, you know?
I do have an answer to
So
that.
that's uh-huh.
So they are gonna do that probably because they did it with Final Fantasy. But like Final Fantasy, they're going to also release brand new cards. Um, and we do have examples of those. There have been some visual spoilers for Spider-Man. These are cards that are coming out, confirmed, real cards. Um, First of all, we have for a colorless, a white, and a blue, Sensational Spider-Man, a 3/3 spider human hero. Whenever he attacks, you tap target creature and put a stun counter on it. Then you may remove up to 3 stun counters from among all permanents and draw target cards equal to the number of stun counters removed this way. So basically, he just comes in and he starts webbing shit up. Because what a stun counter is when a card would untap, instead of untapping it, you remove a stun counter off of it.
That's actually so
It's
funny.
it's flavorful as fuck because you are slowing down your opponents, but you can also use the webs that you're slowing them down with as a resource to collect cards. It's so fucking flavorful. It's perfect. Um, we also have this one I'm excited for. Venom, Deadly Devourer. It's a black green 4/4. Vigilance and Menace. You could pay 3, exile target creature from a graveyard, put X/1/1 counters on target symbiote, where X is the exiled card's toughness. So you eat your graveyard, which I think is also pretty
Wow.
flavorful for Venom. We'll just speed through these other two. We have Green Goblin and Doc Ock. And these are part of a special set of cards they're really releasing. It's 6 cards, and they come in a box together, and you can put them together, and the art makes one big picture.
So do you think any of these would just be a commander on their own, or would they just be a part of the commander deck?
I think that all of these would do a lot better in the 99. You could build an interesting Spider-Man deck. You could build a pretty interesting Green Goblin or Venom deck. I'm less hopeful for Doc Ock, but none of these cards really scream out to me. This is what they all look like
I
together.
oh, that's
I
cool.
know, I know. Um, and that
That's so
is,
sick.
let me pull up a pricing on that. Um, it is currently sold out on Amazon, uh, but it was selling for. Wait, I lost it. Um, Gosh, where was it? It was selling for $42, the Scene box. So you get all 6 of these cards for $42, which is pricey,
That's actually not bad.
but that's
But for
what.
6 cards,
Mhm. They did a couple of them for the Lord of the Rings set. They did a couple Scene boxes, and they were similarly priced. So it wasn't a huge surprise. Um,
so I'm looking back at the Spider-Man card. I would argue that this would be a good commander,
mhm,
just because you would have that ability to constantly bring him back in for those stun counters.
mhm. Yes,
And I think if he was just part of like a 90 or the 99, then he wouldn't have that much value. That's what I would argue.
I agree, but I think he has just as good a chance as any other legendary creature at being the commander. Because he's a
Oh,
specialty card.
really? What about hold on, let me pull up like a random legendary creature. Do you think he has a better chance or a worse chance to be a commander than um what's like than this guy who fixed I hold on, I'm going to have to put him in the Discord.
Okay.
I can I cannot say his name. But he costs one of every color.
Oh, he's a 5 color. Phyrexian
Do
Scorn.
you think he has a better chance than that guy?
In fact, cards of this fetch
Or a
land are
worse
paid.
chance than this guy?
Um, is this a real magic card? This isn't a real magic card.
This what?
Yeah, this is a fan made card.
How?
In the bottom left, it
This
says
is unbelievable.
MDGCardsmith.com. Yeah. Um,
This is unbelievable.
this is one of my favorite
My
uh
dog is in outrage.
legendary creatures. I'm sending it. Gosh.
Hold
Can
on.
you pronounce that one, Sam?
I'm Oh yeah, let me see. As Moren nam marted cud ist incutular a car. Yeah, I did it.
um, but for Spectacular Spider-Man or Sensational Spider-Man, specifically, I there's just not a lot that you can build around him. Whenever you're building a commander deck, you want the 99 cards to focus on what the commander's doing. So, like in the Caesar precon, you have a lot of bonuses for tokens and soldier card types. So the rest of the deck is built around making token soldiers. And other than maybe proliferate, which means that you uh, get to make additional like counters on creatures for the counters they already have. So basically, you're just like doubling the amount of stun counters there are on creatures. It would be kind of hard to do. But a blue-white Sensational Spider-Man proliferate deck wouldn't be horrible. It just, I bet they're gonna have
It'd just be
better
rough.
Spider-Man cards because that's what I assume they're gonna do.
Gotcha.
They're gonna have the blue-white Sensational Spider-Man, but they're also gonna have red-black Superior Spider-Man, and they're gonna have a card that's called Amazing Spider-Man, and there's just gonna be 30 different versions of Spider-Man that all do different things, which I think is the best idea.
Do you think they'll do like Tobey Maguire
I
Spider-Man
don't
and
think
Andrew
so.
Garfield Spider-Man?
They might make
I think
reference
it would be
to it,
cool.
and they might make reference to it, like have cards that kind of look like that, but they're not gonna straight out put, unless they do. I mean, because they put game like video game art on the Final Fantasy VII or the Final Fantasy sets. They have cards that just have game screenshots on it. Maybe they'll just do movie screenshots. I don't see it happening though. It would be a
I think
surprise.
that would be so funny. That would
It would
be
be
I
really
would
fun.
I would buy that card.
Um, I would too. I would buy all 5 printings of Uncle Ben that have different art from different movies and games and stuff on it. They did that with the Final Fantasy VII set. There's a card called Sid, like something adventurer. Let me see if I can find it. Sid.
Oh, it's where they're all in the like a Ferris wheel cart or something like that, right?
Oh no, that's a different one. That one's cool though. They did that card, and it has like 4 different printings of it, where it's like the different love interests that you can have in that game. That was cool too. Um,
Yeah. That one's so cool.
the one I'm talking about is Sid, Timeless Artificer. He's a character that shows up in all the Final Fantasy games, um, but he looks different each time. So they did a printing of him for each Final Fantasy game.
That's cool.
It's neat, and that's what I assume they're gonna do. Like, that's what I would like them to do with like an Uncle Ben or yeah, something like that. If they decided to go that route and include other Spider-Man media stuff, I don't know if they're gonna do that though. That might be difficult to pull off, especially because they're trying to build up Marvel as an MTG brand, because they have a planned Avengers set at least, probably an X-Men set as well in the works. They're going to be doing more Marvel
Really
Magic cards in the future.
along with the previous like Captain America, Wolverine,
Yeah,
stuff like that?
that was a preview
Huh.
for what's coming up.
Gotcha. Have they done a Star Wars one?
Nope, no Star Wars. But there's rumors. Um, with they've done it twice recently actually, with Lost Caverns of Ixalan, which is a MTG set that takes place on the plane of Ixalan, which has like pirates and dinosaurs and vampires. It's very much like South American colonialism and exploration themed. It's really neat. It's like one of my favorite sets because of how many cool vampires it has. Because what they did is they made the Spanish colonialists. They made them vampires, which is so much fun. and they had like the South American natives or like the equivalent of the humans, and it's really fun. It's a fun set. Um, but in that set, in the normal packs, there's a 1 in 10 chance, or like 1 in 50. I don't know the exact numbers, but a pack of Lost Caverns of Ixalan may contain a Jurassic World themed card.
Oh, cool.
And they did it for a set called Brothers War as well. And in that, there may be Transformers themed cards. And you saw me pull one of those. You saw me pull
I
Slicer,
did, yeah.
the Transformer card. Um,
Yeah.
so there's a rumor that for Edge of Eternity, they're going to do that with either Star Wars or Star Trek.
Oh, that would be sick.
It would be
I think it
awesome.
would be so cool if it was both.
Yeah, it would.
Or 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 absolutely crazy wild card if it was Stargate. That would be
Mm.
a crazy
Oh,
throw
that would
in.
be awesome.
It's like you're going through your cards and all of a sudden you have like a Tilk card or
That would be,
Teal'c. That would be so
yeah.
sick.
Wow. I would love for that to happen. I don't know if they're gonna be doing special guest cards like that anymore because they're making Universes Beyond full set thing instead of just special guests and secret layers. But who knows? We might get that. I think if we do, it's gonna be the last time though, because there's nothing on the release
Yeah.
schedule that has that. Um, the one that would have worked is Aether Drift that came out earlier this year. There were people that thought there would be, okay, these people are kind of stupid, but there were people that thought there would be Mario Kart special guest card, which would never happen because Nintendo are stingy bitches. Um,
Yeah.
but it would have been fun.
I think I think a better guess would have been just a Lamborghini. Like
Yeah. Oh
you can
yeah.
just pull a Lamborghini card.
um, and you know, to a degree, we did kind of get Mario special guest cards in Aether Drift. We got Spike Shell Harrier, which is a reference to Mario Kart.
Oh my god, it's a direct reference. That's
It's a direct
crazy.
reference, but we also got Daring Mechanic, which is also a direct fucking reference to Mario Kart. So those are fun. But that's what I think they would do for Spider-Man, is have a card that kind of looks like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, rather than just straight out putting him on there.
I guess if I was me personally, if I was head of the Magic the Gathering like card designing and artist making, I would 100% have the different live action versions.
Absolutely, I agree.
And even go like all the way and do the different animated styles as well.
Hmm Yes, that's what I want. I want a spectacular Spider-Man card. I want him on a card. That's what I want more than anything in the world.
Can you hear Titan? I
Yeah,
don't know if you
I
can hear him or not.
I did. He agrees. He wants spectacular Spider-Man on a
I can't put him anywhere, so he's just gonna keep talking, but I like to see what he interjects in our
card.
conversations.
um. So yeah, Spider-Man's exciting, but the other universes beyond that we're getting is Avatar: The Last Airbender. It was announced earlier this year, and 2 days ago, 2 days ago, I think so. Yeah, I think on Saturday, Friday or Saturday, we got the look at the very first visual spoiler for Magic the Gathering Avatar: The Last Airbender. Avatar Aang, forecast 4/4 human legendary creature with flying and firebending too, whatever that means. I guess
Which
we'll
is a
find that out soon.
new mechanic.
Whenever you waterbend, earthbend, firebend, or airbend, exciting that we're getting 4 new mechanics. You draw a card. Then, if you've done all 4 this turn, you transform Avatar Aang. And he does have a flip side.
Oh,
Um,
That's
Aang,
sick.
Master of Elements.
Oh my
Flying,
god.
flying 6/6. Spells you cost one less of each color to cast. So basically, you're just knocking off. Like if you have a spell that costs red, white, and two, you just have to pay two.
This card is crazy.
At the beginning of each upkeep, you may transform it back. If you do, gain 4 life, draw 4 cards, and put 4 1/1 counters on him. He deals 4 damage to each opponent. Aang is gonna fucking kick ass, dude. He's gonna be such a good
Dude,
commander. We also get a
that's
preview
sick.
of the set symbol. If you look at the front side of the card, next to where it says Legendary Creature, Human, Avatar, Ally, that's what the set symbol of the deck's gonna look like, or of the card's gonna look like. So we're gonna
And
have a
it's just his noggin.
yeah, we're just gonna have a bunch of Magic cards with Aang's noggin on it, and I'm excited for that.
That's so sick.
Mhm. It's
All right,
I'm
I might be super hyped for that set. I
yeah,
changed my mind. I think this is probably my most hyped one.
and we've only seen one card, like, and everybody's so excited already. Um, Now what's most exciting for sure is the Universes Beyond set, but there's something interesting coming with um, Edge of Eternities. First of all, we're getting a new card called Spaceship. Just a new card type. Let me pull up an example.
Yeah, we got a new card, and it's just spaceship.
So in the past, we've had cards called vehicles, where they are an artifact until you crew them, which means you tap creatures you control
Right.
up to that number, and then the vehicle becomes an artifact creature until end of turn. For spaceships, sorry, um, I had examples. Where did they go? I totally had
I
examples.
ate them.
You ate my examples? What the fuck, man? Here we go. I found one. Here is the Ceremia. They are similar in which you tap things to activate an ability, except for instead of crew, it's called station, and you they stack over time. So I think they stack over time. So I can station 3 and put 3 counters on the Ceremia, and then the next turn I can tap something that has power 4, and then it would get to the threshold of 7. And then at that point, it becomes a flying 5/5 that makes other legendary creatures have indestructible.
Oh, okay, and once it gets to that point after it's an artifact feature. Oh, okay, I see. So until you have 7 or more charge, it then becomes something
Uh,
you can utilize.
yeah. Um,
And I'm guessing, like, after that, you don't have to keep tapping anymore. Like, the counters just stay on there.
exactly. Yeah, unless somebody gets rid of those counters some way, or like the card says remove a counter each turn. Like there's gonna be different ways of doing it, but yeah,
What if it's just like nuclear bomb and just destroys all spacecraft or types?
yeah. I think nuclear bomb is a like a definite. You should put that in your deck going forward to combat the rise of spacecraft. God, Magic really is the Fortnite of card games. But with this new announcement of spacecrafts, Magic has changed the rules so that legendary legendary spacecraft and legendary vehicles are now allowed to be your commander. It doesn't have to be a legendary creature. Any legendary spacecraft or legendary vehicle that has a power toughness thing on the front face of the card is allowed to be your commander.
That sounds crazy.
Especially with the one I just sent you
That
before this.
sounds really,
My
really
vehicle
cool.
card, the Parhelion 2.
Yeah,
This is the one everybody's excited for.
yeah, because this is a good
It's
card.
a great, great, great card. Some other great examples, um, besides just those two, we have uh, Esakai's Chariot, which just creates cats, and then copies those cats, which is a good strategy. Just good token copy. I could definitely build a nice green deck around it. And the RMS Titanic
What?
from the Doctor Who
What?
set. You know the Titanic from the Doctor Who set.
That's
Yeah, that's my
crazy.
commander.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It's just
All right. So,
it's a
oh my
kamikaze boat
god,
spaceship that creates treasure tokens. And because it's your commander, it just goes back to the
that's
command zone
oh,
and you get to replay it.
but it's only. Oh my god, that would be crazy. That would be
You
crazy.
have infinite treasure tokens.
Yeah,
If you, yeah.
I'm gonna send in basically this is the nuke that I was talking about. It's just a giant Titanic
Yep.
going
Uh
straight to the player. That's crazy.
huh. And that could be your commander now.
Oh
Not yet.
man.
These rules aren't going to be put in place until release day of Edge of Eternities. So don't go building
Okay.
vehicle decks just yet, dear listeners and Douglas. The release day for Edge of Eternities is when that rule rolls out. Um,
Man, do you think there will be another like like because I would assume that this is a pretty big rule change.
mhm.
So do you think there would be another rule change like this that's like pretty huge?
I wouldn't be surprised to see all planeswalkers get the commander ability, because planeswalkers, what they are. I explained it to you briefly one of the last times we played Magic. They aren't a creature. They act as like another target for your opponent. So whenever your opponent is attacking, they can either attack you or your commander. It only has one number. I'll pull up an example. Um, I'll pull up an example from. Oh wait, I had it, but never mind. Um,
I ate it that example too.
why you keep eating my example?
They're just
Um,
really good.
Here is Commodore Guff. He has only one number in the bottom right corner. And you can,
5.
yeah, during your turn, you can either pick to add one to that number and create a 1/1 red wizard token, or subtract three from that number and draw X cards, where X is the number of planeswalkers you control, yada yada yada. So yeah, and then once that number gets to 0, it dies. So that's why
Oh, okay.
your opponent. So let's say I play Commodore Gruff. I turn one, I do the -3, and then you attack it for 2, then it would die.
Yeah.
So right now, certain planeswalkers, say on the bottom row, this planeswalker can be your commander. There's only like 40 of them, I think, out of like several hundred planeswalkers that have been printed. I wouldn't be surprised if we had some sort of rules change that allowed a lot of those older planeswalkers to be your commander. So instead of it having to be printed on the card, like the rule is all planeswalkers can be your commander except for this list of like 10. Because of course there's some that are too powerful for it. But I think that if there's going to be another big rules change, like uh, vehicles and spaceships being allowed to be your commander, I think that would be it. That's my prediction.
Uh, that would make a lot of sense too, because I mean, kind of like fits with it being a planeswalker, being your commander. It kind of just feels right, I guess.
um,
Now, do you think some of them will have? I don't. Do you think some of them will have eminence? or whatever that ability is called.
I don't think Eminence is ever gonna come back. There's only four commanders, or four planeswalkers with Eminence, or oh, yeah, there's only four commanders with Eminence. I don't think anything else is ever gonna get it. It's too
That's kind of
powerful.
lame.
It's yeah, it is lame. But it was kind of lame for it to exist in the first place. Um,
No, how? I think it's a perfectly balanced, perfectly fine ability.
no, because I can throw a bunch of bulk junk I already have together and make a really powerful Edgar Markov
Exactly. Perfectly balanced and amazing.
deck. Take a look at the
I'm
command.
sorry, the card that you just yeah, the one you just sent me, it says -12.
Oh yeah. So if for like 5 turns you do the +2, then at the end of that you can do the -12, which is exile all cards from target player's library. Then that player shuffles his or her hand into his or her library. So basically, this is what you were talking about. You get rid of your player's
Oh yeah.
entire library, and they have whatever 7 or less cards that they had as their new library. It's over at that point. I think something like this
Yeah.
wouldn't be allowed to be a commander if they made a rules change that let planeswalkers be commanders. There would be some sort of ban list for planeswalkers as commanders. Jace the Mind Sculptor would be on it.
Okay, true, but it does take a while to ramp it up to have
Mm-hmm.
that -12.
Yeah, that's why it's not banned entirely. I think it would just be banned as commander, which they have done. There are, or were, there was a list of cards that were banned as commander, um, and then they just added it to the ban list, and they've started slowly unbanning some of those. It doesn't exist anymore, but I think if they let planeswalkers be commanders, they would bring back a banned as commander list. Um,
I
I like,
think Magic and different other trading cards need to have a little league of all banned cards. Like you can use any card that they've ever made, especially and even my bad, I'm stuttering, including the ban list, and just see how crazy it goes.
yeah, there's formats for Magic like that.
Really? That's so cool.
Yeah, there's like 10 different Magic formats. Commander and Standard are the most popular, and then Modern. Yeah, those are the top three constructed formats. But there's stuff like Legacy and Vintage, where instead of ban lists, they'll either not have one at all, or they'll have a restricted list where you're only allowed to have one of a card on the restricted list. So in Legacy, I think Black Lotus is on the restricted list, so you're only allowed to have one Black Lotus in your deck.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Did you like the furry alternate art I sent you for Jason the Mind Sculptor?
No, I'm looking at it right now, and that's a really funny card.
It's a yeah, real magic card. They did a couple of those. Um, they did so. What Bloomborough is a set of magic where it's a plane full of tiny critters, which is adorable. There's like frogs and foxes and like otters and shit. I I
It's so
play against a
cool.
guy who has a bunny rabbit tribal deck from Blurmborough. Um, but for these characters that already exist in Outside Magic, like Jace and Nissa and Liliana, they reprinted them with animal art and they look awesome.
Dude, that's cool. I was giving a harp about like not making new cards, but if you can make a good artwork for a previous card, then I guess I can lighten up about that.
That's what I really like about the full arts for Final Fantasy, because like here I just had them out too. I was showing them to you earlier, and then I put them away. Um, like yeah, this one right here, Baron Rivalry. It's a really common card. Deadly Dispute. I run it in a lot of my decks. but this art is so beautiful. I don't mind paying a little bit of a premium for this different version of it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I like reprints with different names and arts for sure. I'm a big reprint fan. I like new cards. I like Universes Beyond. There's so many fucking old heads who are like, Universes Beyond is ruining Magic. I like it personally. I don't know if I like it as half of our sets this year though. We have had um we have had 8 sets of Magic this year. Let me check that. MTG 2025 release schedule. Um there we go. This year we have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sets released, and 3 of them are Universes Beyond: Avatar,
Oh,
Spider-Man, and Final Fantasy.
yeah.
People tend to say that because of Universes Beyond, we aren't getting as much of the mainline story of Magic the Gathering because like all of the other Magic sets, there is an overarching story. There's characters that people care about and like to follow. As somebody who isn't really attached to those characters, how do you feel about that?
I I can understand why people would feel like that.
Mhm,
But then also it's really nice to have something refreshing.
mhm,
Like, oh man, this certain set had a great plot, I guess.
mhm,
But then also like Final Fantasy is super cool. So I think it would be different if it wasn't well done.
mhm,
I think if it was just like oh, check out this SpongeBob set and it's just like pretty bad. Like
mhm.
I'm sure it wouldn't be that quality because of how big Magic the Gathering is. But if it was bad, I can definitely understand the argument of like, oh, this sucks. I want another set that had a better plot or just better artwork than what this random set was.
Exactly. Yep. As
But
long, yeah.
but at the end of the day, I don't really care.
Yeah. There's just a lot of conflict about we're getting less of normal Magic. It's coming less frequently. Resources are kind of being pulled away from it because you have half your people working on this overarching long form story that is the plot of Magic the Gathering, and then your other half of your team is working on faithful adaptations of Final Fantasy, Spider-Man, and Avatar: The Last Airbender. I can understand where like people feel like their favorite part of the game is it being treated fairly, but yes, I agree with as long as every set is being made well, there isn't a real issue with it.
Yeah, because then it just goes back to it. Because isn't it like the whole just like giant thing surrounding this is just like the players are just some wizards casting spells or something like that.
Yeah,
Like to me, that's just like a good plot. Like I really don't want to look for more. I think it's just fun being a wizard walking around and casting other wizards to a duel.
hell yeah. That's what it's all about. So when are we gonna do this next, DJ Dougie Doug? When are we going to either get together and play some Magic or be able to record? When should our dear listeners expect another episode?
I guess we can keep trying for Mondays and
Okay.
see how that
Yeah,
works.
record on Mondays, and I'll try to get it out by end of this week or end of next. Um, yeah, work.
Sick. No, this ruled.
Alrighty. Well, I'll see y'all all next week. Um, take care, Doug.
Everyone take care. Everyone stay safe and take care.
Yeah. Get ready to get hit by the Titanic in a couple months. Straight to the face. Titanic just whoosh.
A giant Titanic missile on its
Oh
way
yeah.
to you.
Oh yeah. That's why I like the imagery of Magic the Gathering being two wizards dueling. Cause yeah, I summon the fucking Titanic and drop it on your head.
And I continuously summon it because it's my commander.
Exactly. Every 4 turns, boom, and then
It's just a giant Titanic.
every time it hits you, I just randomly get like 7 piles of treasure, and you don't know why that's happening.
Why do you have so much gold over there?
Alrighty, yeah, we'll see y'all next
Like
week.
sitting on
Bye.
like piles of treasure.